And I promise you, this new policy will bring unprecedented prosperity to every single household.
Oh, here we go again.
They continue to promise us the earth, but we can all see the storm brewing. We know that it could spill over at any time into civil unrest, worst, global conflict. On Context, we look at how to save the West, how to face the challenges of modern Britain through a strategic perspective. Welcome to Context with me, Joseph Robertson. Good morning. It's 7:30 a.m. on Thursday, July the 24th, 2025. You've had your coffee. You're waking up. But do you feel the tension building in the air? I'm Joseph Robertson, and this is episode 2 of Context, your daily strategic briefing. We're not here to echo the establishment's echo chamber. We're here to uncover the hidden agendas, map the battle lines, and arm you with the strategies to reclaim our nation's future. The elite in Westminster, DC and beyond whisper that division is just the price of progress. They peddle unity while sowing discord, watching as our communities fracture under the weight of their policies. They are wrong, and dangerously so. Are you sensing it? Not the surface-level squabbles fed to us by the media, but the deep rumble of unrest that's been engineered to erupt. The real conflict isn't simply between left and right. It's between the people and a system designed to pit us against each other. This isn't a clash on foreign soil. It's brewing in our streets, our towns and our institutions, right here in Britain, and echoing across the West. Today, on Context, we pull back the curtain on the soft revolution, a calculated push towards civil war without a single shot fired. We'll expose the Fabian Society's insidious grip on power, the playbook of colour revolutions being dusted off for our shores, the protests simmering in Epping and beyond, and how a government that despises its host nation is fracturing the proletariat to usher in unprecedented control. This isn't random chaos, it's an orchestrated fracture of our society, our unity and our sovereignty. And today, we lay it bare. The Fabian Shadow, architects of the soft revolution. Let's start with the puppet masters who have been operating in the shadows for over a century, the Fabian Society. Founded in 1884, this elitist cabal of socialists has been the hidden hand behind much of Labour's agenda, preaching gradualism, a soft revolution that erodes our freedoms inch by inch without the mess of outright rebellion. Their emblem? A wolf in sheep's clothing. Their namesake? Fabius Maximus, the Roman general who won by wearing down enemies slowly, avoiding direct fights. Sound familiar? This is the essence of the soft revolution. No guillotines, no barricades, just patient infiltration of institutions, policies and minds until the old order crumbles. And make no mistake, the Fabians are woven deeply into the fabric of today's Labour government. Keir Starmer, Sadiq Khan, Lord Kinnock, they're all disciples of vice presidents. The society boasts of being one of Labour's original founders, rooted in Marxist thought, but repackaged as progressive reform. They learn from the Frankfurt School, subvert culture, education, law to dismantle capitalism from within. What do they want? State control, masked as compassion, high taxes, suffocating regulations, and a globalist ideology that prioritizes international agendas over British sovereignty. Their influence? They draft Labour manifestos, whisper in cabinet ears, and connect with socialist networks worldwide. Tony Blair's Third Way was just Fabian socialism in disguise, communism by stealth, admiring Soviet policies while claiming moderation. Why the silence? Because they've mastered infiltration. The media categorically ignores it. The public is kept in the dark. But the danger is real. Fabians aren't reforming Britain. They're reshaping it into a socialist utopia we never voted for. This soft revolution divides us subtly, pitting worker against worker, native against newcomer, to prevent unified resistance. The colour revolutions, blueprints for engineered unrest. But the soft revolution isn't just theory, it's been tested globally through the colour revolutions. Think orange in Ukraine, rose in Georgia, tulip in Kyrgyzstan, non-violent uprisings that topple governments, often backed by Western NGOs and intelligence. On the surface, they were about democracy and anti-corruption. Dig deeper and you see a playbook ripe for regime change, funding activists, manipulating media, and exploiting grievances to spark spontaneous protests. These weren't organic, they were engineered. Protesters trained in civil disobedience, symbols like coloured flags uniting crowds, and foreign money fueling the flames. The result? Governments flipped, new elites installed, and societies left fractured. Now transpose that to Britain. Our elites aren't importing this model to overthrow tyrants, they're using it to manufacture division at home. By ignoring public fury over mass migration, they create flashpoints. Borders left open, communities overwhelmed, and when people protest, label them far-right thugs, stoke counter-protests, and watch the clashes unfold. We've just seen it with police officers transporting left-wing protesters to a migrant centre where peaceful protests happened to be occurring. It's the colour revolution inverted. Unrest not to liberate, but to justify crackdowns. This fracturing isn't accidental. It's a new twist on dividing the proletariat. Marx's working class now split along the lines of identity, culture and resentment, a government that purposefully despises the host nation, dismissing British values and British citizens as outdated or bigoted. They flood communities with unvetted migrants, suppress wages, strain services and then blame the backlash on racism. The result? The proletariat torn apart. Natives versus newcomers. Workers versus welfare independents. United, the British people would demand change, but divided, we fight each other while the state tightens its grip. Epping and beyond, the tinderbox ignites. Look no further than Epping for proof. This Essex town has become ground zero for unrest, with protests outside the Bell Hotel, housing asylum seekers, turning potentially volatile. Triggered by the arrest of a 38-year-old asylum seeker charged with sexual assault, how often have we heard that story? Locals were clashed with the police, pelting them with rocks and eggs. The council leader calls it a powder keg, with residents living in fear amid reports of crime and division. But here's the sinister part. Police admitted escorting masked pro-migrant activists directly into the fray. Why, as several commentators have pointed out, it's hard not to see this as deliberately stoking conflict to delegitimize protests over broken borders. Footage shows officers undisputably shielding counter-protesters, busing them in vans to the site, creating the optics of chaos that paints concerned parents as extremists. This isn't incompetence, it's strategy. Epping follows the Southport and Norfolk riots with similar patterns. Peaceful demos against migrant hotels, hijacked by agitators, leading to arrests and media smears. And it's spreading. This weekend, July the 26th to 27th, expect more flashpoints in the UK. Anti-racism counters in Pontypridd, Glasgow and Norwich against fascists, plus Stop Trump protests in Scotland. Frame it as far-right versus anti-fascists, and you've got engineered clashes ripe for escalation. So the UK is on the brink of civil unrest. Not full-scale civil war just yet, but simmering disorder that fractures society. Protests in Epping show how quickly tensions boil over when governments ignore the people. If left unchecked, this becomes the precedent. Unrest is an excuse for incremental control. New laws on hate speech, surveillance, blasphemy protections, all under the guise of public safety. The soft revolution wins by turning our divisions into chains. The fracture and the fight back. These threads connect. Fabians orchestrate the soft revolution. Colour revolutions provide the tactics. And spots like Epping are the testing grounds. A government despising its host nation, eroding British identity for globalist ideals, drives the wedge deeper into the proletariat. They want us fractured, resenting each other over resources, culture, and justice. United, the people could topple them. Divided, we enable their tyranny. But they underestimate the people. We are awakening. From Epping's parents to Reform UK's pushback, resistance is building. The alternative, reject gradualism, demand immediate border security, deportations, accountability. Expose the Fabians, counter the narratives, and organise peacefully but firmly. To truly turn the tide, we must fight steel with steel, meeting their underhanded manoeuvres with robust lawfare and refusing to let the other side evade consequences for their dirty tactics. Just look at the Trump administration's bold action this week, referring Barack Obama to the DOJ for his alleged role in colluding over the Russia hoax. This isn't mere retribution, it's a strategic legal offensive, systematically dismantling elements of the deep state that have undermined democracy from the shadows. In Britain, we can mirror this approach, pursuing relentless legal accountability against bureaucratic saboteurs and the architects of societal division, turning their own weapons against them to restore true sovereignty. This is a war for our nation's soul, and we need to equip you daily. But deeper battles require strategy. That's why we're expanding our arsenal. Our weekly war room, May Day, launches this Sunday, July the 27th at 6 p.m. It's our call to action, gathering top minds to expand on blueprints to halt the soft revolution and avert unrest. No fluff, just plans. Tune in on Sundays at 6 p.m. starting July the 27th. If this briefing resonates, share it. Follow here, like, engage. You're the vanguard in this fight. And don't forget to come back tomorrow morning for your next briefing. I'm Joseph Robertson. The storm is brewing. Your time to act is now. Until tomorrow, stay vigilant.